The first thing you notice is the silence, an ancient heavy silence that seems to rise from the red earth itself. Then, out of that silence, a figure appears. A woman, walking slowly across the scorched plains of the Omo Valley, her chin lifted, the enormous clay plate in her lower lip glowing under the sun like a symbol carved from another era. To outsiders, it looks shocking, even impossible. But here, in this remote corner of Ethiopia, it is a language of beauty, pride, and identity, a tradition so powerful that it has shaped the destiny of an entire people. This is the world of the Mursi, a community often judged, rarely understood, and almost never seen beyond the surface. Today, we venture into their land, where every scar, every ornament, every ritual carries a story the world has long misunderstood. The land where time stands still. The Omo Valley does not reveal itself easily. You reach it after hours of driving through dust storms, thorny acacia trees, and landscapes carved by centuries of unforgiving heat. Here, the earth is cracked like an old map, painted in tones of gold, burnt sienna, and deep rust. The river Omo, long, winding, unpredictable, is the single thread of life that holds this world together. Without it, nothing survives. With it, entire cultures have been born, shaped, and protected for generations. For the Mursi, geography is destiny. Their villages sit far from paved roads, hidden behind dry hills and labyrinths of shrubs. This isolation is not an accident, but a shield, one that has kept their traditions intact, while the rest of the world races forward. The climate is harsh, in a way that tests both body and spirit. Summers feel endless, with heat pressing down like a weight on the shoulders. Rain is rare, but when it comes, it floods the plains with sudden fields of green that attract wild animals, antelopes, hyenas, baboons, and even the silent ancient crocodiles that lurk near the riverbanks. In this environment, every decision matters. People move with the seasons, animals migrate, and the landscape itself decides when life is generous and when it's unforgiving. To understand the Mursi, you must first understand this land, a land that demands resilience, rewards courage, and punishes those who underestimate it. It is in this harsh cradle that the Mursi have preserved a culture the rest of the world believed could not survive. Githos. Who are the Mursi? To understand the Mursi, you must step into a lineage that stretches far beyond written history. They are one of the most iconic ethnic groups of Ethiopia's Omo Valley, a people whose identity has been molded by the rhythm of migration, the pursuit of fertile grazing land, and the constant need to protect their herds. Their origins are traced through oral traditions, stories passed from elders to children beside evening fires, stories of great journeys, battles, and encounters with neighboring tribes like the Suri, the Hamar, and the Badi. The Mursi have always been semi-nomadic pastoralists. Cattle are not simply animals here. Cattle are life. They measure wealth, negotiate marriage, settle disputes, and define honor. A person without cattle is considered incomplete. Villages shift depending on the needs of the herds, and entire communities move in cycles that follow the subtle patterns of rain, grass, and river. Their history is also marked by conflict. The Mursi and their neighbors frequently clash over grazing territory and access to water, especially in the long dry seasons when survival turns into competition. These encounters have shaped their culture of strength and vigilance. Young men grow up learning not only how to protect cattle, but also how to protect the dignity of their people. In recent decades, their world has begun to change. Modern Ethiopia has expanded roads, military presence, and infrastructure deeper into Omo. With every new road, outsiders inch closer to a community that once remained untouched. And yet, despite these pressures, the Mursi continue to hold on to the core of their identity, a testament to their fierce resilience. Strength, status, and the circle of community. In Mursi society, every person has a place, and every role carries weight. Authority is not loud or aggressive. It is woven into daily life, spoken through gestures, rituals, and responsibilities passed down through generations. At the heart of the community stands a delicate balance between those who guide, those who protect, and those who nurture. Men are raised to be guardians of the herd. From early childhood, boys learn to read the sky, understand animal behavior, and track subtle changes in the land. Strength is admired, but wisdom is valued even more. A warrior earns respect not only through bravery in conflict, but also by demonstrating restraint, fairness, and loyalty. Their wooden rifles, symbols of identity, are carried with pride, reminding them of both duty and heritage. Women, on the other hand, are the anchors of the household. They manage food preparation, craft pottery, build temporary shelters, and care for children. Yet their influence reaches far beyond domestic tasks. A Mursi woman is often the economic center of her family. Her skills in agriculture, trading, and creating ornaments allow her to support her household and strengthen the social bonds within the village. Above all stands the Kamaru, the spiritual leader and guardian of tradition. He possesses no political power in the modern sense, yet his words shape major decisions. People consult him for blessings before long journeys, for guidance during disputes, and for rituals connected to rain, health, and harvest. His presence is a reminder that, in the Mursi worldview, the physical and spiritual realms are inseparable. Together, these roles form a tight social fabric built on cooperation, respect, and ancient customs. In a land as harsh as the Omo Valley, survival is a collective effort, and the Mursi have mastered that art for countless generations. The lip plate, a symbol the world misunderstood. Among all the traditions of the Mursi, none is more iconic or more misunderstood than the lip plate. To an outsider, it can appear extreme, even shocking, but within the Mursi worldview, it is not an act of pain. It is a declaration of identity, beauty, and strength. The process begins when a girl reaches her teenage years. An elder woman, often her mother or aunt, makes a small incision in the lower lip. A tiny wooden plug is inserted, then gradually replaced by larger discs as the lip stretches. Over weeks, months, and sometimes years, the girl chooses how far she wants to go. Contrary to popular myth, the size of the lip plate is not forced. It is an act of pride, a way for her to express her place in the community. A larger plate traditionally symbolizes beauty and maturity. It can also influence the number of cattle offered in marriage negotiations, though this practice has become more symbolic than literal over time. To the Mursi, the plate is not a burden. It is an honor. It transforms the face into a canvas of heritage, telling a story that words cannot capture. Misinterpretations from the outside world have often reduced this tradition to spectacle. Tourists arrive with cameras, treating the lip plate like an exotic display rather than a symbol with deep cultural meaning. But when a Mursi woman stands tall, her lip plate reflecting the harsh sunlight of the Omo Valley, she is not performing for anyone. She is carrying generations of history. She is wearing her identity. Yet even here, change is creeping in. Some young women choose to forego the plate, influenced by modern schools, new religions, or the growing presence of outsiders. The tradition is not disappearing, but it is evolving, adapting to a world that pushes relentlessly at the edges of this ancient land. Donga, the ritual of warriors. If the lip plate is the symbol of feminine strength, then Donga is the ultimate proving ground for men. It is not merely a sport, it is a ritual, a test of courage, and a passage toward honor. When the rainy season ends and the grasslands return to life, young men gather with long wooden sticks, carved specifically for this moment. These are not simple branches, each is shaped and balanced to strike with precision. Donga is often described as a duel, but it is more than that. Two opponents step into an open field, surrounded by their peers, families, and elders. The air grows heavy with anticipation. The fighters begin circling, testing distance, watching each other's posture, and then, with a sudden burst of energy, they swing. The sound of wood cracking in the air echoes across the valley like thunder. The goal is not to injure, but to demonstrate skill, agility, and control. Still, the clashes can be brutal. Broken bones, deep cuts, and concussions are not uncommon. Yet for the Mursi, the risk is part of the ritual. A young man who performs well earns recognition, respect, and the right to be considered a viable partner in marriage. His victory becomes a story retold for years. Donga also strengthens unity. After each fight, the tension fades, and opponents often share drinks or sit by the fire together. Elders oversee the event to ensure fairness and manage disputes. They see Donga as a way to channel aggression into a structured setting, preventing real conflicts between clans. To outsiders, the ritual may seem violent, but to the Mursi, it is a celebration of strength, discipline, and the transition from youth to adulthood, one of the many traditions that binds their community together. Spirits, nature, and the invisible world. In the Mursi worldview, There is no clear line between the physical and the spiritual. The wind that moves through the grasslands, the shifting colors of the mountains, the rising and falling of the Omo River, all of these are interpreted as signs, messages, or moods of the unseen forces that govern life. Nature is not a resource, it is a living presence, a companion, and sometimes a warning. Central to this belief is the role of the Kamaru, the spiritual leader whose authority does not come from wealth or strength, but from an inherited connection to the sacred. People visit him in times of drought, illness, disputes, or uncertainty. His hut may be simple, but inside it, decisions are made that influence the entire community. He performs blessings before long journeys, leads rituals during seasonal changes, and offers guidance when the tribe faces danger. The Mursi hold ceremonies that honor their ancestors, believing the dead remain close, watching over their descendants. Trees and stones are sometimes considered sacred, especially those believed to house ancestral spirits. During certain rituals, community members paint their bodies with ash, clay, or charcoal patterns, symbols meant to protect them, attract blessings, or connect them with the natural world. Rainmaking rituals are among the most important. When clouds escape the valley for too long, the Komoru leads prayers and symbolic offerings. Even today, despite outside religions entering the region, many Mursi continue to trust these ancient rites, seeing them not as superstition but as conversations with forces that have shaped their existence for generations. To understand the Mursi is to understand that for them, nature is not passive. It listens, it reacts, it remembers. And as long as the tribe walks this land, they will continue speaking to the spirits that have guided their ancestors since time began. Daily life, survival, skill, and the rhythm of the valley. Life among the Mursi unfolds with a simplicity that hides extraordinary resilience. At sunrise, the village stirs to life as the first light glows across the plains. Smoke rises from small cooking fires, children run barefoot through the dust, and the distant sound of cattle bells echoes like a morning chorus. Every movement has purpose, every task is part of a larger cycle of survival. Men head out early to tend the herds, often guiding them miles away in search of fresh grazing. Cattle are everything: milk, status, dowry, and spiritual anchor, so the health of the herd determines the strength of the community. Young boys accompany their fathers, learning how to read tracks, anticipate storms, and recognize signs of predators. Their education comes from the land itself. Women organize the heart of the household. They cook sorghum and maize, gather firewood, craft pottery, and build temporary shelters. They paint their bodies with white chalk or ash, creating swirling patterns that are both decorative and symbolic. Many women shape intricate clay ornaments, not only for personal adornment but also for trade with neighboring groups. Meanwhile, children weave through the village in small groups, playing games that mimic adult responsibilities. Their laughter mixes with the crackle of firewood and the low hum of conversation. Older girls help their mothers prepare meals or fetch water from the river, balancing clay pots on their heads with astonishing grace. Despite the beauty of this rhythm, life is undeniably tough. Drought shrinks the pastures. Long walks for water exhaust entire days. Resources are scarce, and every choice is shaped by the demands of the climate. Yet the Mursi navigate these hardships with a sense of unity and determination. Their days may seem simple, but each moment is tied to a deeper understanding of the land, a relationship built over countless generations. Pressure from the outside world. For generations, the Mursi lived in a world defined entirely by the river, the land, and their own traditions. But in recent decades, the outside world has pushed against their borders with growing force. Roads that once seemed impossible to build now cut through the valley. Government projects, including large dams upstream, have altered the flow of the Omo River, changing planting seasons, shrinking fertile soil, and threatening the delicate balance that sustained the tribe for centuries. Tourism, too, has become a double-edged sword. Visitors arrive with cameras, often treating the Mursi like a living museum rather than a community. Money circulates in uneven and unpredictable ways, shifting social dynamics. Some villagers adapt by posing for photos, while others resent the intrusion, feeling their culture is being reduced to spectacle. The rapid introduction of cash disrupts traditions that once revolved around cattle, honor, and exchange. Conflicts over land have intensified. Neighboring tribes compete for shrinking grazing areas. And modern weapons have found their way into disputes that were once settled with sticks or negotiation. Government patrols move through the region more frequently, bringing new rules that do not always align with the Mursi's ancestral ways. Change is arriving faster than the community can absorb. Some young people attend schools far from their villages, returning home with new languages, new ideas, and sometimes a desire to leave the traditional lifestyle behind. Others feel torn between worlds, pulled toward modernity but anchored by identity. Yet even under this pressure, the Mursi continue to stand firm. They navigate each intrusion with caution, determination, and a deep-rooted belief that their culture is worth protecting, no matter how powerful the outside forces become. As the day fades in the Omo Valley, the sky turns into a canvas of molten gold and deep violet. Shadows stretch across the ground and the rhythm of the village softens. Cattle return from the plains, their bells echoing like distant memories. Fires flicker to life, casting warm circles of light on the faces of men, women, and children settling into the evening. And then, in the glow of the setting sun, you see her, a Mursi woman walking with calm dignity, her lip plate catching the last rays of daylight like a symbol forged from another time. In that moment, you understand something simple but profound. Once you come to know this place, you never forget it. The harshness, the beauty, the rituals, the silence, all of it stays with you. The Mursi live in a world that challenges the modern mind, yet they hold a grace and strength that few societies can match. What do you think about a culture fighting to preserve its identity in a rapidly changing world? If you enjoyed this journey, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell, and share this video with someone who loves history and curious places.